Hey guys, it is Joe here, and today we're going to be doing another episode of What If Civilizations Were Over, another season, because I keep forgetting to save the map, and then recording another episode, and then having to restart the series. This time, I promise you that will not happen. Anyway, let us see. Where should we start it this time? We started in the Horn, we started it in Southern Arabia. I want to start it somewhere in the old world. We let's start it in Poland, because why not? So the Poles will become a thing, and they will begin expanding along the coast over Poland until they have completely disappeared from history as a thing that never happened. Just kidding. The Poles will begin existence along the coast, moving up into the Kaliningrad area until they have a nice little country going. People begin liking the country more and moving across its many domains, and Poland begins expanding ever so slightly down into the solid lands of not Poland. So immediately, some people decide that enough is enough, and they begin building things, sus little thingy things that appear out of nowhere. These things are cities. They appear along the main Polish coast, up north, as well as one outpost city that appears down here, and one on this bump here. The government will decide that it is best if they move into one of these little dots, and they decide that this one will become the capital, and they are becoming quite a nation. Their country will begin expanding into further realms of the pole of Ind until they end up meeting up. Also, right now I'm just using the trackpad, but hopefully I'll start using the mouse soon. That will hopefully make for cleaner movements. But anyway, they will capture Bornholm in just a second. I will be back. Make no time at all to you, but that was some time for me as the computer is about to die. But anyway, we are here in yeah, but they just captured Bornholm as they've developed boats capable of going up there. About that. And now they will. I was just saving it. Anyway, they'll move up along the Germanic coast and capture this German island until they have a place. However, some things happen. First of all, this part breaks away. Then the German coast breaks away. Now, these are like the rural parts breaking away as they are feeling neglected. And guess what? The red team won't attack them, which further enforces the idea that they were being neglected. The final one is this tiny Kaliningrad country, which actually isn't tiny compared to some others that broke away. However, it will immediately begin expansion into the areas around here in Lithuania and eventually down to Belarus until they end up looking like this. The red will move around this city, completely encasing it in their land, which it should be because it's their city, and they meet up with the green border over here. And the blue area goes up and lands. The Bornholm country lands on the southern Swedish coast and captures the country. Well, but they don't capture all of Sweden, or do they? They move around southern Sweden, becoming quite large until the new countries are starting to get some cities of their own. The first one appears on this island, and then someone's over here in across Sweden. This is one of the most populated areas of the world currently. Down here get some cities, mostly in the German part. There's one or two in the Polish part. And then finally, the green receives their first cities along the coast here, as well as just dotted around inside of their thing. The red will also gain a population around in here, and they will gain until they are very dotted with major cities. And the population is getting kind of restless, claiming that their country is overcrowded. Deciding they need more places for their people to live, they begin recruiting bunches of people to go out, and it's kind of like drafting. They're like forcing these people to go out and expand, but they claim that it's for their own good because they're giving them more places to live, and the people kind of accept that and let their country expand around, capturing more territory, and people in the red team move to more rural areas. Now the southern Black Sea is looking a lot more populated, and this is where these other countries that broke away a bit recently decide to formulate governments, and thus they get their capital cities. That one on Bornholm, theirs is actually down here, not where they were first formed. And this country will get theirs on this German island until these are all the capitals. But we'll turn off the capitals for now, as something interesting is happening. Deciding that it is bad how much the red team is expanding, the Lithuanian country, that is their new name, begins expanding up along the coast of Latvia, taking all these areas for their own and preparing. And the red team takes this as an offense, claiming that the green team is gaining more land to get more resources to go to a war with them, which war hasn't existed yet, so we don't ask how they know what war is. So the red team makes a preemptive strike, moving quickly into green team territory and moving down close to their capital, getting right on the outskirts of it, cutting off their capital area, and taking major cities. Green team troops know what they have to do, so instead of going through the areas occupied by the red team, they go around the red team and start taking these areas before declaring them a full part of the dark green team, which forces these red troops to retreat away from their forces near the capital. They retake this city and then this one, and then push back and retake this one. The red team surrenders, and the peace treaty is this. Borders are kept the same, and the dark green team is expanding further. And now they're probably actually the largest country so far. However, the red team actually buys a piece of dark green land, that piece, which I didn't know why dark green has that in the first place, but who cares? And they begin expanding deeper into the European continent and gaining more land. However, the red team does something that they probably should have. That violates a part of the treaty that says they can't interfere with each other. And a little uprising happens in the Latvian parts of the Lithuanian country. They quickly group together and form one large uprising that pushes down, and the dark green team surrenders to the rebels, allowing them to have independence with these borders, which will end up making the purple team. I will quickly continue what the dark green team started over here around the Gulf of Latvia, expanding. The dark green team, on the other hand, will also continue what they are still doing, expanding into these territories and taking more and more land. And this land will eventually fall over to the purple team. Now, we haven't talked about the yellow team really since its formation, other than obviously its major cities and its capital. But it will begin expanding and expanding into the Danish area, eventually working their way across and cutting off the peninsula. They will sail and find these two islands and begin working up them. They will completely take this one and land on Denmark, taking more. However, before they can finish taking this island, blue team forces land on it, not knowing that this island has already been discovered. And they will stand out like this until they meet up with the yellow team, splitting the island. Yellow team forces will push up further and end up looking like this. In the north, while working down south, they meet up with this thing and line it up, creating that. More major cities will begin popping up as the world becomes more and more populated. You have a couple blue ones popping up, though not a lot. Poland just explodes with thousands upon thousands, just kidding, they're not thousands, but multiple large cities popping up as still they're having overpopulation problems. The green team will also see an explosion in population, specifically up in this newly conquered northern area, while the Latvian country, sorry about that, instrument in the background, is not very populated and probably won't be for some time. Now, speaking of the Latvian country, they gain their capital up here. And this is currently what the South Baltic Sea looks like right now. And we can turn off the capitals and go back to the background, where some Swedish movements are beginning to happen. specifically Sweden, moving up and taking this island, and then continuing up the coast towards the Stockholm area. They will land on this island and take it, and then meet up with over here and continue along the Swedish coast, moving up and completely taking the Stockholm area. Claiming that the red team isn't helping with overpopulation problems down here in Poland, a revolution will happen in many overpopulated urban cities, like this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one, and this one, mostly in the southern part of the country. However, also a couple northern cities, though no coastal ones. The original Polish government will immediately kick out these two revolutions. However, down south, these ones will grow, connecting with each other and capturing more cities, most of them not really fighting back against them, even if they don't particularly like the revolution, as it does have some ideals that they agree with. They capture more and more areas of southern Poland until Poland eventually agrees to release the South Poland as a new expansionist country. Now, this basically blocks North Poland off from expanding. They will make some bulges in the only areas that they can, expanding out over here, and also swelling up over here. However, as countries come to meet them, the Polish government realizes that this is the end of their expansion and that it's over. They can't expand anymore, not with all these new countries surrounding them and taking land they wanted for themselves. With the Lithuanian country becoming rather large, actually. It's still, I think it might be the largest country. Maybe not after the loss of Latvia, but maybe the yellow's a little bigger, but Sweden. But they are still second or third biggest, maybe even still first, I don't know. Then anyway, more expansion will happen with the yellow snaking down around the red. And they're first really not just like coastal area over here in Poland. However, they also begin not just over there, but also expanding out of Germany, meeting up there and taking this. And they will meet up with the Reds over here. And then the Reds will finally be stopped when the new expansionist country comes up and takes this. And that is the end of Poland's expansion. North Poland, anyway. South Poland is still expanding like a monster, taking over chunks upon chunks upon chunks of new land, trying to fix their overpopulation problem by gaining lots of new land. And soon they become one of the largest, I think now probably the largest countries in the world, taking more and more territory until no one can compete. No one. Not a thing. And yeah. Well, that is going to do it for today's episode of What If. Actually, there's one more thing. That's a very important. It's going to be very important later. Very important. But anyway, that will do it for today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. Please like and subscribe so we can reach our goal of 100 subscribers by 2026. And we'll have some specials there then. You know, specials. Your fave. But anyway, I will see you next time. Good day. What is happening? Sorry.